Got a funny story for you. I was interacting with a little 6-year-old kid, and we are talking about football, and asked me if I knew a little bit. And those of you know, I know quite a bit about football, probably more than the average person. And this little 6-year-old says that like Dak Prescott is the best quarterback of all time. And I kind of smile, like, oh, okay, why is that? He's like, oh, because he's the best. He's for the Cowboys. We love the Cowboys in my family, and they're amazing, and all those other things. I was like, oh, well, I'm like, have you ever heard of like Joe Montana or Troy Aikman or maybe even Tom Brady? I don't know, just trying to throw it out there. And he's like, no, 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 Dak Prescott's the best. I'm like, do you even know who Troy Aikman is? He's like, who? I was like, he kind of won a couple Super Bowls with the Cowboys. Your dad might be a fan. And he's like, no, 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 Dak Prescott's the best of all time. And then I finally realized, like, man, there's no point in trying to like convince this kid or inform this kid or give him data or facts that might sway his argument the other way. Eventually I realized it was just a waste of time and there was no point in trying to, so I just kind of let it go. Now you might be saying, why would I share this story? Well, the question is, are you that little kid? When conflict arises, when things pop up, do you find yourself like, no, 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 I know I'm right? Honestly, we're all guilty of it. We've all gotten into little disagreements. We've all gotten into conflicts. And for whatever reason, we go in, I'm going to win this argument. I'm not really going to listen to the other person. I'm going to tell them all the reasons why I'm right. And then I'm going to tell them all the reasons why they're wrong with whatever they come up with. I'm going to find a kink in the system or chink in the armor for whatever they got. And I'm just going to attack them left and right and prove why I'm right and they're wrong. Guys, that's that little 6-year-old mindset. We can't have that. We got to grow up a little bit. We got to have a growth mindset. We got to be willing to go into a disagreement. Because look, guys, disagreements are going to happen all the time. Conflict will always be there. Now it's just a matter of facing it and talking about it maturely, or talking about it immaturely, or just trying to ignore it and pretend like it's not there. And eventually, inevitably, that conflict's going to blow up into a big, huge blow up, And so we don't need that. I think it's good to have a little conversation, a civil conversation when you disagree, and then just talk it out. Now, so if you find yourself, I think emotions is probably one of the biggest reasons why we don't go in with the growth mindset. We kind of go in, we're fired up, our amygdala's been triggered, and we're not really thinking logically. We're getting a little bit more emotional. Hey, that happens all the time. Don't worry about it. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. Maybe go back to the person like, you know what? Hey, I wasn't me. I was fired up about something else, and I really wasn't listening to that conversation. Let's do it over. Mulligan, whatever the case. Let's do it again. But you'd be surprised at the amount of people that don't even consider that part, that they might have to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more of a growth mindset. So I encourage you to do that. Also, we just have to be willing to admit, maybe I'm just not looking at it from a certain perspective. Maybe there's another way or another factor that I didn't even take into consideration. You have to have that growth mindset, willing to say, I think a lot of you have seen a meme where one guy's looking at a 6, and on the opposite side of the 6, the other man's like, no, that's a 9. And one man sees a 6, one man sees a 9, and they're both correct. It's just a matter of your perspective. So you have to be willing to talk to the person, and to be the more mature person, you got to listen. And the more you listen, and just genuinely seek to understand the other person's perspective, and I think you'll be happy. Don't just pretend to listen. Trust me, I've been there. And the other key too is that when it comes to conflict, is the other person you're talking to mature enough to have a growth mindset and be willing to admit they're wrong? Because if the other person that you disagree with isn't at least willing to admit that they could be wrong, you're really wasting your time. You're just battling back and forth, and it's not going to get anywhere. If anything, you'll just end up frustrated, mad, and angry, and nothing will be accomplished in it. So strongly encourage you keep a growth mindset yourself. Check your emotions when you're disagreeing, and then also third on top of that, just in case the other person isn't mature enough, just let it go. Man, you can accomplish anything you want as long as you're willing to sacrifice and put in the work. I believe in you. We're in this together. Let's go get it.